This way we can send it out as a replay. So if you enjoy it, you get to watch it over and over again. I'm looking at my reflection on the screen, and people have told me that this shirt is hypnotic and distracting. So I wore it. So yeah, this is about bringing out a situation that creates kind of a wall in your life. We all have it. We all have things that we need to overcome. And ideally, you're going to overcome this to become more of who you truly are. So these are, as I've said from the first meditation we've been doing, you know, these problems, these challenges, these, you know, situations in our life that we look as negative are really actually opportunities for us to create something wonderful. So that's my outcome for you tonight, is to be able to create something wonderful and to guard yourself against what people would call these attacks, right? You know, not the attacks that are going on in the outside world, the attacks that go on in the inside world. And people have called them panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever you want to call them. Okay. And I know a lot of you are already like way beyond that, but on some level, we all have it. I mean, I experience it every once in a while, you know, when you know, when there's still more month left before my money runs out. You know, and you know, it's you know, we get in these situations, and you want to be your best to deal with it. So you know, so this is about a level of resiliency, as always, and to have the ideal states of mind within you and throughout all aspects of how you live your life. So you're going to get some tools tonight. You're going to get some learning. You're going to get some consciously, and you're going to get some on an other than conscious level. So, you know, I was talking with a good friend of mine today, Julie, who I think is on here, and you know, we were talking about, you know, this wall of
Hi,
resistance
Mark.
in our lives. Hey,
I'm here.
Julie. So I gave you credit. I told you I would, right?
Yes, you did.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. Sometimes, you know, like I prepare and I have an idea and I have a theme, and I can also be just totally spontaneous, which most of this is. It's not scripted, although there is one part that came to me in a meditation, and I'm going to read it word for word because I looked at it and I go, I'm not going to bother memorizing this. It's brilliant word for word. So I apologize in advance for what I'm going to just read. But really, you know, if you look at walls in our lives, right, you know, metaphorical walls, and, you know, people are always looking for that breakthrough. They're looking for personal breakthroughs, for business breakthroughs, for relationship breakthroughs, financial breakthroughs, whatever it is that you're looking for. And what does that mean? What are you breaking through? You're breaking through a level of resistance in your life, that there's something you want that you don't have, right? And, you know, what you have is not necessarily what you want. So there's a problem you have that you don't want, and a solution you want but you don't have yet. But what I'm going to help you with tonight is to realize something really cool. You already have all the resources that you need to resolve any problem in your life. If you can look at something that you want in your life, or something that you want to happen in your life, or something you want to stop happening in your life, or whatever result it is that you're looking for, whatever that outcome is that you're looking for, and you don't have it now, you have the symptom now, it's where you're at, you're not there yet, okay? But in order for you to see it, you have to already have it within you. You know, one of the great teachers that I learned from says you can't see something within someone else unless you first have it within yourself. But this is our own life. It's something that we're trying to create. So it's something we're trying to manifest. It's something we're trying to live into. So when you have that goal, when you have that dream, when you have that desire, okay, it's because you already have everything within you that you know how to do it. But there's something holding you back. There's something blocking you. There's something getting in your way. And it's kind of like a wall, right? So we're going to go through some things that'll help you to kind of resolve that wall. I mean, it might be a matter of just walking through the wall as if it's not there, because it's most likely an illusion. It might be taking out your lasers and blasting the wall to bits and pieces. It might be going inside the wall and imploding it from the inside out, and then realizing it was never there in the first place. Okay. Or it might just be as simple as adding in a doorway and walk through the door. It's unlocked, right? Or you got the keys. So really what I want to help you with tonight, and I'll open it up in a minute if anyone wants to share anything in particular that they're going through, so we can apply it directly. But this is really a generic model, and it's a guided meditation that will help you to realize first where you're at, and then where you want to be, and what it's going to take for you to bridge the gap and get there. So one of my mentors way back when, taught this model called SCORE. So it's a simple model, but it's a very generic model for anything that anyone's going through in any aspect of their life. So the S is for symptom, right? So it's where you're at. You have a symptom. There's a problem in your life. There's a challenge. There's something you want to happen that isn't happening. There's something that you don't want to happen that is happening. Whatever it is, it's your symptom of discomfort. It's your symptom of uncertainty. It's your symptom of unrest. Whatever it is, it's your symptom of stress, right? It's just a symptom, right? And the reality is that something came before that. Something caused that. So Pavlov, trigger response. There was a guy named Pavlov years ago who did these experiments with dogs where he would give dog food. The dog would salivate at the sight and the smell of the food, but it would be behind a grate, so the dog couldn't actually get to the food. And when the dog was in its heightened state of salivating in anticipation for the food, he would ring a bell, right? So give dog food, dog salivates, ring a bell. Give dog food, dog salivates, ring a bell. Give dog food, dog salivates, ring a bell, right? So after a while, what happened is he could ring the bell and the dog would salivate. He wouldn't even need the original food anymore. So it's a trigger and a response that he set up. So in some way, and he took this and created behavioral therapy, and we all have this kind of an innate ability within us to set up this trigger response. So the symptom of whatever you're feeling right now, whatever's going on in your life right now, was caused by something in the past. So this kind of sets up a pseudo timeline. So there's where you're at, the symptom, and there's what came just before that, which is the cause, right? So anyone want to know the root cause of any problem that you could ever have in your life, no matter what? There's only two reasons, okay? Dr. Richard Bandler, who I studied with, neurolinguistic programming, said there are two root causes to every single problem that any person could have under any circumstance. Anyone want to know what they are? Unmute yourself or raise your hand or.
Sign me up.
Okay.
I'd like to know.
Okay.
I've been blaming it on my mother all these years.
Well, that's one of them, right? So number one, you were born, right? Number two, you had parents.
Exactly.
Right? So
I'll blame the both of them.
apologies to the therapists in the room, but the therapists that dig and dig and dig, what's the problem? What caused that? What caused that? What's the root cause? Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get to the absolute root cause. So you just got it. You don't have to look anymore. Now we can stay present in the symptom and move forward into the future, right? So if you want to know what caused your problems, it was either A, you were born, or B, you had parents, or both, right? So if you were never born, you never had parents, you wouldn't have any problems, right? So welcome to the real world. Now let's take it forward from here. So, the symptom leads us to a desire for an outcome, right? So it's something you want, someplace you want to be. It's something you want to have in your life that you don't have now. It's a result. It's a desired outcome, right? And like I said, we have resistance to get there, but what we're going to do in the meditation tonight is kind of like let you dream a little bit, let you go there, let you imagine. And I see Helen is on the line. I borrowed one of her great techniques that I use all the time now. It's a meditation called the day after, right? So thank you, Helen. I appreciate that. The day after. So a lot of times, and the day after is actually the next part in the model, or two more parts. The last part in the model is actually the day after. But this is going to kind of lead you to all the things that you want the day of, right? So there's the symptom, there's something that caused that symptom, there's the outcome that you want. And what's it going to take to get there? It's going to take resources. But here's the cool thing. You already have all of the resources that you need to accomplish anything that you want in your life. It's just a matter of learning how to pull it up and how to apply it to this situation so that you can utilize all the powers of your conscious mind and all the powers of your other unconscious mind to create the right state of mind so that you can be resourceful, right? So I tell a story about the miser and the pauper are standing right next to each other in the front of the miser's house. Now the miser's got this big house, but it's all beat up. You know, it's decrepit. It's never been maintained. It's a huge house, biggest house in the land, but yet you can see it's in bad shape. You know, it needs paint, it needs siding, it needs everything. The bushes are out of control. It looks like some deserted house in a ghost town somewhere. And this guy's standing out in his ragged clothes next to the pauper in his ragged clothes. Okay. But buried under the ground in the front yard is 1,000 solid gold coins, right? That the miser swore when he buried them that he will not touch those gold coins no matter what, right? So here he is, he's living bare necessities. He's barely got food on his table. He's dressed in rags. His house is in, you know, disheveled. And he's standing next to this pauper. And when you look at them, you can't tell the difference between the two of them. But here's the question. Is there a difference between the two of them? We'll find out, right? So 2020, right, creates this wall, this obstacle for us of the things. People had plans. People were going to travel. People were going to do this. People were going to do that. People were going to go to restaurants. You know, people are planning to go here and go there. And now there's all kinds of rules and regulations and restrictions. People go to meetings and now they can't, you know, unless it's, you know, certain circumstances, or you have to keep social distancing, or there's a whole new set of rules and regulations. But really what this is, and I'm going to show you how this is a gateway. This is a gateway for us to discover a better version of ourselves, that we can rise up and go over this wall, or blast through this wall, or put a door in the wall, or prove to ourselves the resiliency that you have to deal with anything. I mean, let's face it, if you can deal with 2020, you can deal with pretty much any year that they could ever throw at us, right? I mean, and I have a friend who's 88, and he goes, in his entire life, he's never seen anything like this. So I'm going to take that as pretty much like a long time. And it's long enough for me to deal with. I'm not quite that old yet. But, you know, looking at, again, you know, symptom, cause, outcome, and you have the resources. You're going to learn how to use those resources resourcefully, right? So a resource is only a resource if you can use it resourcefully, right?
Makes sense.
So what's the last one, the E? The E is the effect, right? So you get the outcome, but then beyond the outcome, the day after the outcome is the effect. And that's, I can assure you that that's what you're really looking for. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to guide you to the effect. And if you're at effect, what does that presuppose? The effect presupposes that you already got your outcome. The effect presupposes that you're not in the symptom anymore. The effect presupposes that whatever caused it didn't matter anymore. And the effect also presupposes that you pulled up those resources, applied them to this situation, bridge the gap from where you're at to where you want to be, and you not only got your outcome, but now you're at the effect of that outcome. So that's what we're doing tonight, okay? Kind of tongue-in-cheek, I said, you know, is panic attacking you, right? So I'm going to read something from my notes where this kind of came from, and this was every morning. In Helen's group yesterday, her wonderful law of attraction group, which I've been going to for a while now, over a year. probably,
Thank you, Mark.
probably over 2 years. So
Yeah.
thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can post in the chat how to join your group on Meetup. But I'm going to talk in the meanwhile. So, you know, this came to me in my meditation. You know, we were talking yesterday about, you know, morning routine. So I have a morning routine where I wake up, and as soon as I have 2 alarms. I have 1 alarm that wakes me up, and then 1 alarm that goes off a half an hour, just in case I fall asleep during my meditation, because I'm not fully awake when I start meditating, but I want to stay in that deeper, other than conscious state, but still be awake, right? So I have this wonderful program called Zen 12. Almost all 12 of them are 12-minute meditations, except the last one is actually a 20-minute meditation. So Zen 12, but it's 20 minutes instead of the normal 12 minutes. But I've kind of progressed all the way up to that. And now I do the 20-minute meditation, and I just, maybe a word comes to me beforehand, maybe a thought comes to me beforehand, maybe something I'm trying to achieve that day, maybe a problem I'm trying to figure out a resolve for. But whatever it is, you know, some idea or thought comes into my mind, the music comes on, and I just allow myself to go into the meditation, and whatever comes up, comes up. So usually right after that, I might doze back to sleep a little bit, or I'm just kind of sitting there contemplating what came up for me. My second alarm goes off, and I shut that off, and I get up, and I have a notepad right next to me, and I just start writing. Whatever comes to my mind, I start writing. And, you know, maybe it's journaling sometimes, maybe it's things going on in my life, maybe it's the resolution to a problem, or maybe it's content for a class that I'm teaching like this on meditation, or, you know, some marketing idea, or something I can do to help someone else with, or, you know, some sort of insight, maybe another chapter from my book on the hero's journey to success. So here's what I came up with the other day in coming up with this class. So, help, panic is attacking me. But how can that really be? I mean, panic is an inside job. So we're attacking ourselves. Let go, right? Dive deep into the center of the panic, right? So, little side note, I had a friend of mine. He used to teach this wonderful self-defense course. I don't think he still teaches it anymore, but it was a brilliant course. This guy was an ex-reconnaissance Marine, and he studied all these different kinds of martial arts. And people go and they study martial arts for years, and then they're away on vacation, they get attacked, and they don't use anything that they learned. So what this guy did was he took people that didn't even have any training in martial arts, and in a 3-day course, maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, they'd meet at the dojo, and he would guide them, and mostly like business people or executives or single women that travel, or, you know, whatever it was, the demographics of his group, people would come there and they didn't have any training in martial arts whatsoever. But at the end of these 3 sessions, you would be able to handle any situation. But the biggest thing that he taught was, like, someone grabs your arm, what's the tendency? Someone grabs you and they're pulling you. You tend to pull back, right? That's intuitive, right? But what he said is you got to do the counterintuitive, and his training was all about counterintuition. So the name of his company was called Step Up Self-Defense. So instead of stepping back, he would teach you to step up and step into it, and really just, you know, because, you know, if you think about it, and they teach you this, you know, God forbid a dog ever bites your hand, you know, one of those dogs that just like clamps onto your hand and is not letting go. Most people try and pull out, and that causes the dog to dig in deeper. But you have to go with what the dog's conversation is in its head, is he wants to swallow, right? He wants to eat, you know? And what you can do, which is counterintuitive, if you push your hand in to the dog's mouth, the dog has to open its mouth to swallow, and then you can pull it right out, right? So you step up, you step into it. So what I'm going to tell you to do is to dive deep into the center of that panic and to test your superpowers. And then guess what? you'll implode it from the inside out. This is a fear that kind of hides, it kind of hides in the corner of the building, and its strength, the power of this fear, the strength of this fear is in not letting us see how weak it is. I'm going to say that again. The strength of the fear is in not letting you realize how weak it actually is. It's like a bully. It's like any other bully. It's like that person that has to be loud because they feel timid. They're that fear looks so huge, right? What is fear? It's false education appearing real, right? I did that in the first meditation. So this fear, we can see how weak it is. It's actually an illusion, right? But with some justifiable truth to it, right? So, it's an illusion, but there's aspects of it that are real enough for us to think that there is some truth to it. So, it kind of grabs a hold of some real shortcoming that you actually do have. And then it magnifies it. And it magnifies it so much so that it's all that we can see. And it consumes us. And that's what a lot of people look at as panic or anxiety or stress, But I want you to realize something. As big as this becomes, as all-consuming as it might seem in the moment, there's something you need to realize all the time. You're more than that. Okay? No matter how big that problem is, no matter how giant that anxiety seems or that panic appears, you're more than that. So only by doing the counterintuitive thing, by diving in, right, you'll succeed and you'll grow. And guess what? You'll never, ever have to face that fear again. It'll be afraid to show its face, right? Because you called it out. It's like, how do you, I'm not a fighter, so I'm not condoning this, but I've heard, how do you deal with a bully? You walk up to the bully, and first thing you do is punch them in the face. They will never bully you after that. They talk about, the cliche of biting the alpha dog's ear and then you become the alpha dog. I don't know. This is crazy stuff. But whatever it is, when you confront that fear straight on and you dive in, you step up and you show it you're not afraid, it'll back down. It'll pull back. And then what happens? When you dive in, you succeed and you grow and you never have to face this fear again because you break through it and you destroy it. And when you have successfully avoided or ignored it in the past, you gave it permission to still exist, to still be there. So avoiding it, that hasn't worked. I mean, if avoiding a problem has worked for you, raise your hand, unmute yourself, scream, it's worked, and tell me how, okay? I'd love to know. So.
Hey, Mark.
Yes?
It kind of reminds me of what I said last night about embrace the suck.
Yeah.
What do you think? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Very relatable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So when you give it permission to still exist and to still be there, you're perpetuating whatever it was that create the cause. You're perpetuating the cause of the symptom, right? So the only way to deal with it is to pull up the resources that you have to step into it and overcome it and resolve it once and for all, right? And when you resolve those issues once and for all, and you believe, right? Here's the thing, believe. Believe that you're good enough, right? Believe you're great. Believe in yourself as if your life depended upon it. So, because your life does depend upon it, right? Your life is depending upon you to believe in yourself. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight, to have a stronger belief in yourself. And that stronger belief is a resource. And that belief is already in yourself. Wrap your head around that languaging, anyone who's taken my class. Okay, so 2020, here we come. We're breaking through 2020. We're breaking through our limitations. We're breaking through any problems that you have in your life. We're getting rid of any panic. We're getting rid of anxiety. But by overcoming it, not by throwing it away, we're going to break through it and get to the other side and get to our outcome and get to the effect. And then it will be the day after. The day after you've resolved all the panic situations in your life, the day after you've resolved your anxieties, the day after you've resolved your stressors, the day after you've resolved any challenges that you have going on right now, and you'll feel the effect of it. And you can dwell in that and realize your greatness, because this is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. This is how you become more of who you truly are. You go to the gym and you work out. Well, what does lifting weights actually do? You know, it rips the muscle. So how is that helpful? Well, when the fibers of the muscle are ripped, the muscle rebuilds, the body regenerates itself, only it does it a little bit stronger, so that amount of weight won't rip it next time. And it can handle more weight. So a lot of people come to me, you know, oh, you can help me relieve stress? Great, you know, help me manage my stress, you know. So most people don't really want to manage stress, and most people don't really want to eliminate stress. What they really want is to be able to handle more stress, you know, kind of like lifting those stress lifting muscles, so to say. And you build up a higher level of resiliency, and that allows what was stressful to not really be a stressor in your life anymore. So in a sense, what that does is it resolves the stress by, you know, if you went to lift 100 pounds and that was heavy for you, but then you worked out and you got up to 150, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, right? You can lift 300 pounds, you go back and lift that 100 pounds, it's like nothing. Like, hey, that's nothing. So the same way, when you build up your levels of resiliency in your life, then those things that seemed overwhelmingly stressful in the past are like nothing. They're like 5-pound weights when you can lift 300. So that's the breakthrough that you will achieve tonight. I'm going to guide you through that process in a couple of minutes. So anyone want to share anything, any issues going on in your life? I know we're recording this, so I just want to let you remind you of that. But this is a safe place. We share with each other. The recording will only go out to people that have registered to attend one of these in the past. So I think right now we're just around 60 people that have been to this total, and there's not 60 here tonight, right? Hint, hint. So anyone watching this replay, you need to start showing up, or I'm going to take you off the list. But yeah, really, I shine when I have the opportunity to help more of you shine. I'm not doing this for me. You know, this whole thing started when a friend of mine said to me with the pandemic going around that we needed to make a hypnosis recording and put it out to the world so that people could let go and stay calm and stay healthy. And we came up with a great idea, a great script, but she's a registered nurse in California. She got super busy, overwhelmed at the hospital. And then it left me with, what can I do? And I decided, instead of just making an audio recording, to do a live class and interact with people, and right there on the spot, help people deal with whatever issues were going on with them. And then that's kind of snowballed. And I think we're in like week number 10. So we're doing good. And my goal is to give you what you need to deal with, not just for this situation that's current, but for life, right? These are tools for life. I'm applying them to the current situation. I'm applying them, but this current situation, what does it do? It magnifies certain issues in our lives, right? But here's the clue. Don't tell anyone. You've had these issues for a while. Okay? This is just poking you and prodding you and bringing it to the surface. And guess what? That's good news, because now, once and for all, you can deal with it and move on and let it go, right? I'm not going to sing. Let it go, right? My kids would hurt me if I started singing. But I can speak real well, and that's what I do. So let it go. That's what it's about tonight. It's about breaking through and letting go, not just of the symptom, but resolving it at the level of what caused it. But we're not going to do that by dealing with the cause, because we already know what the cause is. You were born or you had parents, right? What we're going to do is we're going to deal with it from the point of view of the effect. So the outcome and the effect. And the way that I'm going to help you to deal with that is to kind of pull up these resources and apply them, right? So, you know, when you learn how to defend yourself by stepping up, right? Stepping into it. And really just, wow, I got to yell at myself, right, Helen? Okay.
Mark, I'm a little shocked.
You know, I leave it on until the last minute because sometimes people call me or text me that they can't log into the class, and I just, yeah. So I'm sorry.
That's
I turned it
okay.
off and I threw it away.
It's your show there, pal, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Okay. So when you step into it, right? And then you pull up those resources and you apply them to it, then it's resolved, right? That's how you resolve it. And then you get to move forward, and it's like as if a weight was taken off your shoulders. So when you have all these resources and you're not using them, you know, some people might call that a waste, right? So, you know, you see potential in someone, you see, hey, they could be great at this, or they could be doing that, or, you know, and then you give them advice and you tell them and you encourage them and they still don't do it, right? It's what's the disappointment that we feel is that we see their potential. We see the resources that they have. We see the skills and abilities that they bring to the table, and they're just not using them. And I don't think anyone appreciates waste on any level, you know. And this is what we're going to do tonight is we're going to stop wasting time. We're going to stop wasting energy. We're going to stop wasting our resources, and we're going to pull them up and apply them for you to achieve the results that you want in your life. Yes or yes? Okay.
Yes.
So
I hope that's true. I hope we can do that.
hope. Okay. So don't make me pull down my sign that says do or do not. There is no try. Okay.
Okay.
My favorite Yoda quote. Okay. So actually a friend of mine in Croatia was asking me about that the other day, and I had to text her the picture of my do or do not. There is no try. Little plaque on my wall to remind me right next to my now clock. And my Harmony posted it says yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we call it the present, right? So hope, right? I'm going to say this once. Now I'll probably say it a lot of times, but hope and try are twin sisters, right? Or twin brothers. Don't want to offend anybody. Or twins. We'll just hope and try are twins. And one of my clients put it best. He's a lawyer, and he goes, they're non-committal no's, right? Someone owes you money, and you say, can you pay me back Friday? And they go, well, hopefully I'll be able to pay you back Friday. Are they paying you back Friday? Probably not, okay? But it sounded nice that they said, I hope I will. I'll try. I'll do my best, right? But then when they don't pay you back on Friday, you said, hey, you'd pay me back on Friday. And they said, no, I said, I'd try. And I tried real hard, but I couldn't do it. I was hoping to, I was planning on it, but no, it didn't happen. So here's the thing, you know, hope and try, let them go. There's do or there's do not, right? And in this case, let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's jump in. Let's just let go of everything and be in it, right? you know, one of my favorite stories is The Alchemist, and it really epitomizes the hero's journey to success, which is the title of the book that I'm writing now. And what it's about is, we all look, when we get there, then I'll be happy. When I manifest this in my life, then I'll be happy. When I have this wonderful relationship, I'll be happy. When I live in this place, I'll be happy. When I have this ideal career, I'll be happy. When I'm healthy, I'll be happy. When I've got good friendships in my life, I'll be happy. When I have a romantic partner, I'll be happy. When I can connect spiritually with my higher power, I'll be happy. When I can grow my positive attitude, I'll be happy. But here's the thing. Make the destination be the journey. So make the journey the destination. If the journey is the destination, guess what? You're already there. So that's kind of what we're going to play into this meditation tonight, is that aspect of you being already there. Okay? So we are going to jump in. I'm going to share the whiteboard. But you can close your eyes if you want. And I probably suggest that, just so that you can really have this wonderful conversation within yourself. And I'm going to talk to you to maybe distract you in ways that kind of guide you into a deeper place in your body and your mind, and allow you to experience this in a way that, you can call it a meditation, you can call it a guided meditation, you can call it a visualization, creative visualization. You might even call it hypnosis. Whatever you want to call it, it's fine. I'm going to guide you through this process, and the results are there on the screen. It's going to take you from where you want to be, from where you're at to where you want to be, to pull up the resources that you need to bridge the gap and to break through that wall, right? So in reality, what we're doing is we're going to kind of break through this wall and get to where you want to be. And then take it beyond into the future. Cool? So, everybody keep yourself muted. This is recording. As always, my pseudo promise to you is that if the recording comes out good, I will offer you the replay of just the audio recording part, so that you can listen to it maybe as an ongoing meditation or to help shape you. I'm not promising that 100% on this one, because it might be a little bit of what I call restorative, but we'll see how it plays out. So if you have headphones, you can put them on. If you have a nice comfortable chair, you can sit back. If you want to turn off your video, you're welcome to do that. And I see a lot of you already have, which is cool. And yes, you can begin, as always, by, it starts with the breathing, right? So, because breathing is within us, and it's throughout our life, that you can begin by taking a nice deep breath, holding it for a moment, and then as you exhale, just allow yourself to relax. So in your body and in your mind, you can begin to notice if you started to feel relaxed, where would it start? In your body, in your mind, with your breathing. Now, you can realize this in a way that works best for you. So the guideline, as always, is it's all good. There might be sounds and distractions in the room, and that can bring you back to the sound of my voice, which might even guide you into a deeper state of meditation. That's Or you can just simply let it go as a distraction from the outcome that you're working and playing and enjoying. Not just receiving, but you're actually creating this outcome as you go through this process. But you're creating an outcome that's already there, that already exists. It's in your future. And I'm going to guide you to remember your future and beyond, to bridge the gap of your awareness by first relaxing your body and realizing that your mind will follow this pathway from where you're at to where you want to be. So in a moment, I'm going to begin mentioning various parts of your body, and as I do, I just want you to feel that part. Just begin to relax even more fully and completely with each breath you take in relaxation, exhaling any stresses or tensions that might have been there, and filling the spaces with pure relaxation. That's right. You're doing great. And at first you might become more aware of some things than you were before: the sound of my voice, the sounds in the room, the sound of the music, thoughts or feelings that may drift through the mind automatically. And that's fine. So as you continue to breathe in deeply and exhale slowly, I'd like you to place your awareness on relaxing the muscles in your feet. As you imagine them relaxing, you can allow them to do so. All you have to do is want this to happen. And then you can allow this to happen easily, naturally, automatically. Relaxing up into the calves and relaxing all the calf muscles, loose and relaxed. That's right. Feeling this relaxation moving into your thighs. Let the legs become very heavy and relaxed, almost as if they're sinking down into the chair. Feeling this relaxation moving up to the abdomen. Let the stomach muscles become loose and relaxed. Loose and relaxed. Loose and relaxed. Moving up to the chest and the back, and relaxing all those muscles, all the way down. Relaxing up into the neck and the shoulders and releasing any stresses or tensions that might have been there. And allowing the spaces to fill with pure relaxation. As this relaxation flows down your arms, your shoulders, your upper arms, relaxing all the way down into your elbows, your forearms, relaxing all the muscles down into your wrists, your hands, relaxing all the muscles in your wrists and your hands in such a way that you might begin to feel a very pleasant tingling in your fingertips, allowing this tingling in your fingertips and the relaxation in your body and in your mind to now shift your awareness back to the neck muscles, the left side of the neck, the right side of the neck, relaxing up into the mouth and the jaw, releasing any stresses or tensions that might have been there, and filling the spaces with pure relaxation, relaxing the facial muscles, relaxing the muscles around your eyes, relaxing the muscles around your eyes in such a way that the muscles around your eyes can become so relaxed that even if you were to try and open them, you'll find that they're so relaxed you will not be able to do so. So I'd like you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you. I'd like you to try and open your eyes only when you're absolutely certain that they're so relaxed that you cannot. And that's right. It's this level of relaxation you're feeling in the muscles around your eyes. You can begin to feel throughout your entire body now. Realizing that you're fully in control of the suggestions you follow, or the ones you disregard, or the ones you just allow yourself to dive in deeper and deeper into this relaxation in your body, in your mind, even as the muscles in your forehead smooth and relax, until finally, even the scalp muscles are relaxing. And imagine if there's any place in your body that you're feeling the most relaxed. It spreads from there until you feel it all over and over, again and again and again. And imagine a favorite place, a favorite time in your life, something you really enjoy doing. And as you look around, you notice a pathway. Maybe there's a label. Maybe there's an arrow. Maybe it just happens to be a yellow brick road. But you recognize that this path leads into a future worth belonging to. So you start down the path. You can imagine the movement in your body. Imagine what you're seeing along the way, the sounds you're hearing, and even what you're saying to yourself on this journey to a future worth belonging to, this journey into your future. That's right. And along the way, you come upon a magical gateway. And at first, you don't even recognize it as a gateway. It seems almost like an impenetrable wall. But somewhere in the center, there is a gateway. And in the center of the gateway is some sort of floating, magical, reflective liquid. Like a mirror, only liquid. And as you look into this floating, magical, reflective liquid, and as you look around at the rest of the wall, the size and the color and the texture, the height of it, and then you look back at the reflection of yourself as you appear deep within and beyond that gateway, well into your future, becoming an even better version of yourself. Now, something interesting happens. Something different than any time in the past. The gateway disappeared. It's now a solid wall. You've always had the resource in the past of being able to pass your hand through the gateway and get a feel of what the future's like, and then move through that gateway on faith. But now it's gone. It's all solid wall. And as you turn to look back, and you look around 360 degrees, you're in the center of this giant circular wall. There must have been some sort of doorway when you came in, but it's gone. So you start to investigate climbing over it. And you look up, and it goes infinitely high. And the walls are smooth. There's no way to climb it. And you begin to wonder, what can you do? And on the ground, there's only one object, a crayon. And you're like, oh great, here I am stuck in the center of this wall, on the way to creating a future worth belonging to. And the only tool I have is a crayon. But you take a moment and you look at it. And you think about what can be done with a crayon. And your imagination starts to explore possibilities of what can be done with a crayon when you're behind the wall. So there you are. You have two options: to panic and worry that you'll be stuck there forever, or to realize that you're on a journey. And just because there's an obstacle in your way is no good reason to stop your journey. Because as you may have decided earlier, the journey is your destination. So you're already there. And now you want to see it manifesting in a way that's most resourceful for you. And then guess what? You start to think about the possibilities, the outcome that you want, the good feelings that you'll have, the positive attitude, the things you'll be feeling. I mean, imagine you achieve your outcome of breaking through this wall and getting back on your pathway to create a future worth belonging to. And then you start to think about what's going to happen after that, the wonderful feelings you'll have in your body and in your mind, the positive thoughts you'll have, how proud you'll be of yourself for having overcome that obstacle to become even more of who you truly are. Once you've broken through this wall, you'll have the tools to break through walls. And you'll be a better version of yourself, won't you? But still, you look at the wall. Looks solid. You touch the wall, it feels solid. You look up, it's still just as high as it was. You look around, and there doesn't seem to be any break in the wall. You look down, and all you see is that crayon. So you pick it up. And play with it for a moment. To think about, what's the question that you could ask yourself to find the resourcefulness of this resource that seems like right now it's the only resource you have in your own life other than your imagination, other than your intellect and your ability to ask yourself the right question. And you ask yourself, what if this crayon was the only resource that I need to get out of this situation, to get through the wall? What might be the simplest way that I could do that? comes to you. You walk over to the wall with the crayon in your hand, and you draw a gateway. And then you draw a picture of yourself as a reflection in that gateway. And then next to that, you draw a door that's open, and a picture of your future beyond. And then you draw a giant hole in the wall, as if some laser beam or rocket blasted through it. And then you draw an elevator that'll take you up and over the top of the wall. And you go around the whole wall drawing all of these resources. And having done that, take a moment, close your eyes, and go inside. And just allow yourself to explore the possibilities of what's the resource that you need to overcome this obstacle. How can you apply it in your life? And you start a movie in your mind. Almost as if you're in some sort of magical theater. And in this movie, as you're walking into the theater, you see your younger self looking at themselves on the screen of the movie theater, stuck in a problem, stuck in panic, anxious, fearful. And you see your younger self sitting in the third row, watching themselves on the screen going through that. And you realize that now you have more resources than your younger self. And you can see that situation in their life, that you can't deny that those events happen. But they created a meaning that's not very resourceful. So you go up into the projection booth of the theater, and you see the lever that can stop and start the film. And as you lift the lever, it rewinds back to before it ever began and becomes a small black and white image in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. And it simultaneously fast forwards to after the problem's been resolved in a small black and white image in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And in a moment, when you pull that lever down, the film's going to play through at 10,000 times normal speed, running from that image in the upper left all the way through that situation and ending in the image in the right, and then fading to bright white. And what I want you to do is observe your younger self, watching themselves go through that situation, and notice how they act or react to those images on the screen, and notice what it is that you can learn about the resources that your younger self needs to apply to that situation, to not change the events that happen, but to change the story, to change the meaning that they put to those events. And now lower the lever and let the film play through at 10,000 times normal speed as I count from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you raise the lever and the film fades to bright white and rewinds back to before it ever began. And now imagine floating down into the third row of the theater and sharing with your younger self what you've learned. And then allowing your younger self to integrate those learnings and to pull up the resources that they have and the new resources that you've given them. And to realize any more resources that you realize that your younger self might need now create a new interpretation of that story. And you share those resources with your younger self now. And then you float back up into the projection booth of the theater. And once again, you lower the lever and the film plays through at 10,000 times normal speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you lift the lever and the film fades to bright white and rewinds to back before it ever began. And now you float down into the third row of the theater and you share with your younger self the new meanings that you've created from those events. And your younger self having more resources and applying them to this situation now shares with you the new interpretation of that movie that they've created. And when you go back and forth with your younger self, you realize that the story becomes very similar. And you embrace your younger self and allow your younger self to regrow up inside of you as if you're now one and the same. And then you run up to the right-hand side of that screen and you jump in, and now everything becomes full color, panoramic, three-dimensional, only it's running backwards at 10,000 times normal speed. 5, 4, 3, and then you add in some funny carnival music. 2, 1, and you jump out of the screen. And then you realize that was weird. So you run around to the right-hand side of the screen again, and because it was so weird, you decide to do it again, and you jump into that right-hand side of the screen, and everything becomes 3D, panoramic. You're now in that situation, only everything's running backwards at 10,000 times normal speed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, you jump out of the screen, realizing how now that whole movie is different when you run it backwards. I mean, because even the most horrific war film, if you ran it backwards, it becomes a wonderful story. The city in flames with dead bodies everywhere. All of a sudden, the bodies pop back to life. The flames recede into the buildings and into a metal pellet that's thrown up into the sky and captured by an aircraft that flies it back to the military base, where the ingredients are carefully unpacked and buried back in the ground. And having experienced seeing that magical film, creating a new story, a new resolve, you now open your eyes and look around, and the wall is no longer there. All you see is rows and rows of books, like some magical library, and a shelf with a magical pen. And you walk over to the shelf and it says, "Please return before you leave." And you pick up the magical pen and you walk down the rows and rows of books, and you notice that each row has a person's name on the end of it. And you find a row with your name, and you notice that each one of the books has a date or a significant event that relates to a time or a place or an event in your life. And you notice that one of the books from the past, maybe around the time that that movie took place, is slightly askew. And you walk over and you pick up that book and you open to a page and you start reading the story. And yes, all of the facts are 100% true, as if they actually happened. But then the commentary, the opinions about it, the story about it is no longer true. So you think about the new story that you wrote for that, and you touch the magical pen to the page, and it simultaneously erases the old story and rewrites the new story, keeping all the facts and changing only the commentary, so that you have a more resourceful meaning to what those facts were. And in most cases, you might even discover something positive from that. And then you close the book, and it seems to vibrate and shake and rattle in your hands as if rewriting all of the stories in that book. And then you place it back on the shelf, and all of the stories in all of the books, and all of the books start to rattle and shake and vibrate as if rewriting each of their stories to align with that story you just rewrote, having a ripple effect well into the future books. And then you might become curious. Maybe I could take a sneak peek at what's in my future. And you walk up to one of the books in the future, and you want to see if that future worth belonging to, if you ever created it. And you open the book, and the page is blank. But what's cool about this, these are books of memories. And you now have the opportunity to create this future memory. So you start to think about all the wonderful things you want, your outcome, where you'll be, who you'll be with, what your life is like, what's going on around you, how wonderful it feels to have broken through those barriers in your life, to overcome, to become even more of who you truly are. And then you start to think about the effects of that. How will you feel? What's your vibe? What's going on in your life? How are you impacting other people with this wonderful effect of having achieved your outcome? And now you can share with the world around you. You become the example. You shine. And you inspire others to shine. And you start to touch the magical pen to the page, and it writes out this story in full detail. And a smile comes to your face, feeling satisfied that you've created a wonderful memory in the book of your future. And you close the book, and it starts to vibrate and shake and rattle in your hands. And you place it on the shelf, and all of the books that came before it seem to vibrate and shake and rattle, as if rewriting each and every one of those stories to align, to justify, and to make this future story be true. Like the immortal words of the Pharaoh in the Ten Commandments, he says, "So shall it be written, so shall it be." Feeling satisfied, you go to leave the row of books. You place the magical pen back on the shelf. And you turn to look back, and the library's gone. And you look forward, and there is no wall. You're back on your path. And you walk into your future. And there you are. Once again in your favorite place, a favorite time in your life. Doing something you really enjoy, realizing that you're on the journey. And the journey is the destination. And you're already there because you've always been there. Haven't you? And as you look around now, way off in the distance, you see something small. And you pick up a pair of binoculars and you zoom in on it, and you recognize it as a sign. And written on that sign is a very unique word, a word that perhaps you don't see or hear or say very often, if at all. And when you focus in, when you zoom in on this word, you recognize it as your word. Your word to resolve anything that you need to break through, any obstacle you need to overcome, any challenge you need to conquer and defeat, or turn it around and make it work for you. You realize you have the power to overcome anything, to become anything, to become a better version of you, perhaps the best version of you, where you realize you've stepped up in the same way that That miser could very simply have taken out a shovel, digged up one of those gold coins, bought some nice new clothes for himself and the pauper, gone for a nice dinner, fixed up his castle, and lived full on, enjoying the wonderful resourcefulness of the resources that he already had buried in a way that you too can enjoy the resource of your word anytime you want, to return to this resourceful state of relaxation, to return to the magical library and rewrite any of the stories that weren't working for you yet. You can rewrite it and make it work for you and live into your future memories. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 up to 5. When I reach 5, you can open your eyes, fully awake, fully alert, fully aware, and ready to share how wonderful your breakthrough experience was. To be on the journey, as you always were, as you always will be, only enjoying it more now, won't you? So the whole time you've been listening to me, you may have had some conscious thoughts, and you may have had some other than conscious thoughts as well. Integrating your conscious awareness, your conscious will, and your other than conscious wonderful imagination together as one. 2, help you to realize the wonderful resources that you already have within you and the wonderful resources that are hidden within the so-called problems in your life. The wonderful resources and the opportunity that you have to come up with and to create perhaps 3 new ways of dealing with the stress, 3 new ways of dealing with the anxiety, 3 new ways of overcoming and breaking through that panic of the situation. 3 new ways that you can live in a more enjoyable way. Not just for yourself, but for all the people in your life to benefit from you being a better version of you, a more resilient version of you, a shinier version of you, a more resilient version of you, a version of you that can overcome anything, become anything, create your future, one story at a time, but live it in the present, right here, right now, with not just 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 of your senses awakening to this reality now. But when you're ready to live life full on, then and only then can you now open your eyes with all 5 of your senses fully awake, fully alert, fully aware of just how great it feels to be a better version of yourself. Aren't you? Anyone still there?
Falling asleep, aren't you?
Yes.
So, questions, comments, feedback. What's your takeaway? What'd you learn? Joanna?
Well, I guess you could say that I feel a little more relaxed. I did some creative thinking when when we were going through this meditation, and it's difficult for me to meditate, so it took me a while to really get into it. But then once I did, and just listening to the sound of your voice, which by the way is very calming, I just I tried to come up with different ways to handle different situations that are going on in my life. and thought of my younger self a lot. And I hadn't really thought of my younger self in a long time. And the person that I am now compared to the person I used to be, and how I've handled things differently, of course, more maturely than I did when I was younger. But you know, like everything else, um, you know, everything needs self-improvement, and you learn every day. But it's been a discovery process for me, and I enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Cool. Glad you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to share what your experience was? Good.
I
bad,
absolutely loved the phasmophobia model done that way. I am certainly going to be using the replay of this with a client I have next week. So, you know, I'll listen to it and take copious notes. That was awesome.
So Carol, a practitioner of NLP, recognized the technique that I put in there, and a couple of other people who just finished up my my hypnosis made simple intensive, and kind of like got to see the curtain pulled back and see the tricks of the trade of the wizard. You know, you might have recognized some of the other tools and techniques that I used in there, but really, you know, this is about first and foremost the experience of it. So, anyone else want to share their experience? Something good, something
Hey,
not
Mark.
so good, what you like?
For my first time, I did have a little trouble getting into it, but once I took a deep breath and jumped in, I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Brought me to a lot of different places. My mind kept going other places. I had to bring myself back, but I thought it was wonderful. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, so, you know, this type of hypnotic meditation is really, it's a skill. And like any other skill, the more times you do it, the better you get. So, you know, a lot of people have, you know, expressed, and for myself, I was never able to meditate. And then when I really just connected with the technique that worked for me, then I said, okay, well, let me expand on this. Let me learn more about it. Let me play around with different aspects of it, and then teach it. So that's my outcome. So, you know, one of my mentors in meditation, his name is Bryant, and he calls it a practice, you know, which is really what it is. We're practicing, and we're getting better and better. So, but, you know, perfect practice makes perfect. And,
Yeah.
or at least excellent practice makes perfect. You know, excellent practice makes excellence. So that's.
I don't know about excellent, but I mean, for me, but I'll keep trying. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Cool. And each one is a little bit different. So this one was a little bit more of what I would call restorative. So it's kind of resolving an issue. Some of them are present to future. We've done some where we take virtual vacations, and we all got to share each other's really cool vacation ideas. So there's lots of fun stuff that we've done with this.
Like Mommy, you know, they said, when you go to like Fire Island, some people just like, sure. When you go to Fire Island,
Ed, did you want to make a comment, or is there just someone talking in the
Oh,
background?
that was my daughter. We were saying that the
a virtual vacation.
virtual vacation sounds good. We
Yeah.
need to go somewhere.
Well, you were there for that one. Maybe we'll probably do that one again, so
Yeah.
that more people can experience that weren't there for the first one.
Yeah.
Mark, do you meet weekly? Is this every
Yeah,
Thursday at 7?
this is weekly, yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, my promise is that it would be free for the month of April.
Okay.
And then my promise is it would be free for the month of May. And then my promise was it would be free for the month of June. So we're still going, and it's still free. So,
Sounds good to me.
so jump in while you can. My goal, and I'm putting out a request to everybody, please. My goal, I can have 100 people in this Zoom room. Okay, we are way short of that. We're like at 9 right now. So, you know, we've had as much as 20, or I think almost 25 one time. But tell people, if you enjoyed this at all, and you watch maybe a couple of the replays, there was at least one in the invitation that was sent out, you know, share it, you know, tell other people about it. It's free. We're just offering people the opportunity to let go of some stress in their life. Have, you know, even if you just took an hour and a half for yourself and said, this is going to be my hour and a half to just kind of like shut out the outside world and let it go for a little bit. And if I get any kind of bonus of tools or techniques that I can use to get into a deeper, relaxed, meditative state, then all that's a plus, right? And from the feedback I've gotten from people, it's a lot more than just that. So, you know, people have had some really positive experiences from this. So I like that. I just saw the embrace the suck, right? So I thought last night my hearing was terrible, so it was embrace the stuck is what I thought it was. So embrace the suck, embrace the stuck. It's all good.
No, embrace
I
the
did find
suck.
that song today. It's good to be alive. And
No,
I like it.
it's Andy Grammer. Think I found it. Oh,
Good to be alive, you know? That's
I
what I
don't think
wrote.
that, I don't think that's the name of it though, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, I
well,
think it is good to be
I
alive.
found it because it's the song with the race car driving around.
Okay,
The guy goes
Well,
into
it's-
the restaurant, hands him the key to the
Yeah.
Lamborghini, and they
Yeah.
just go for a ride, you know?
the yellow car, if you all know what I mean.
Yellow, yeah.
I saw him at the Paramount last summer and he was amazing.
I'll
Yeah,
bet
but-
he was.
Such a great show, such a fun guy.
Mhm. That song will, I think I could be at a funeral and that song would just make me happy. I don't know what it is about that song, but it's just
It's a good song.
lyrics.
I'm going to add it
just-
to my list. In my classes, I always use a song that kind of invokes a state of
Oh.
mind. You know, and it's,
Well,
you know, ironically, in the world of music, which is usually uplifting and puts people in a good mood, there's very few songs where the lyrics are really clean and positive
yes.
in my languaging background,
Mhm.
you know. So yeah, that one definitely is a fit. So
Oh,
thank you.
enjoy. Yeah,
Cool.
glad to help, so to speak. Well,
Okay,
I
so
have to jump off. I have to make a phone call at 8:30 that I promised somebody I would call them. And I want to thank you very much, Mark. It was awesome. Thank you again.
thank you, Helen, and her
Thank you, Mark.
information is posted in the chat. Long Island, Law of Attraction, Long Island meetup.com. If you want to go and learn more about how to attract wonderful things into your life. I will
And-
actually be speaking at that
Yes.
group on July 1st.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
So you can get kind of a back-to-back double shot of me that week on Wednesday and then Thursday again with the meditation. So
Well, that should help you speaking that day too. If you want to get more people in your group, I think, you know, this is, you know, it's a good thing for you, you know, to speak then. But anyway, I've got to run. So take care, everybody. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you
Mark.
for
That was
being here,
awesome.
Helen.
Bye,
Okay.
Helen.
So
Thank you,
So
Mark.
we're done unless anyone has any questions, comments, concerns. I'll stay on for another minute or two to, you know, anyone want to share a takeaway?
I think anytime I'm relaxed after driving in the car for, you know, from like 6:30 in the morning until I got on with you at like 6:45.
Right.
It's a long day in the car back and forth.
Wow.
And I'm like 90% calm right now. Must be
Yeah.
the hairline. Must be that new hairline.
So, you know, Brendan Bouchard talks about self-care and the importance of self-care. So, you know, whether it be this or something else, you know, just make sure on a regular basis you're doing something to take care of yourself.
The funny part is, like, I'm constantly involved in my own self, like, just not like the things that I want to do always. I'm always, you know, making sure everybody else has got what they need, but mentally, I'm usually pretty good. Like, I'm like laser focused, as you say. But, you know, there's days I'm not perfect, but I'm like, you know what, I always get done what I have to do. And, you know, which is not easy, because sometimes, like yesterday, I ran into one of those parades. I'm like, oh God, I'm like, how am I getting around that? So, but I did, and I got around it, and I figured it out, and then, you know, I got right back on track. It took me a little longer, but I got around it. But not easy.
So here's the thing, you've got really strong stress muscles and you can deal with all that stuff, and that's great. But on top of that, take a day off. take a day for yourself. Take a day to
I
just
took enough days off.
enjoy being, or at least a part of a day, or, you know, like you come here, at least an hour and a half.
This is my time off, and I'm
Yeah.
like, when I go back to the gym at some point, and go to get a mani-pedi, which I'm taking Julie with me.
Okay, yeah, cool, okay. So again, I thank you all for being here tonight. I'm very
Thanks.
grateful
Thanks,
to be
Mark.
able to
Where-
do this with you.
Will the replay be posted on your YouTube channel?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
um,
Awesome.
might not be tonight, might not be
No, that's all right.
tomorrow,
I did
but-
a session today though, so it's very cool. And I'm gonna do one again next week with somebody, so for sure.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm setting up the dates now, but I'm gonna do another Hypnosis Made Simple intensive one, and anyone who's taken it before can attend for free, and anyone new, it's gonna be the same low price of $270, and then after that, we'll schedule a master class that'll involve more of the conversational language patterns. So,
Awesome.
Mark,
We'll keep you
when this pandemic is over, do you have like group meditations at a
Yeah.
location or a venue? Where are you based out of?
it's ironically right across from the skating rink on
Oh, at
Stewart
Bethpage.
Avenue, on Stewart Avenue in Bethpage, yes.
Okay,
So it's the People Wellness Center. I
okay.
think it's either 946 or 936 Stewart Avenue. I don't know. I'll post it when things start to open up. Right now,
Yeah, it's hard to find because it's just a house. Like
Yeah.
if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know what you're
it's like
looking for.
it's a house, but then there's a room upstairs over the garage that
Mhm.
just has the most phenomenal energy. It seats 15. We could probably get 20 if people are willing to like lie down or use a pillow or sit on the floor. But it's just a great space. The energy is great. It's just, you know, feng shui, it's great.
Mhm.
It's just a really cool energy, and the acoustics are good in there, and we've had nothing but good groups there. You know, doing it online is open to a lot more people, and it's a lot more convenient that you can
Right.
show up from the
Right.
convenience of your home, but we will offer the live and in-person one as well. Only because I have to pay for the room. There's usually a small fee for that.
Mhm.
We'll see what that is when things open up again. But, you know, my goal is to offer as much value as I can, and for you to get the benefits as much as you can. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you. Share, share, share. If you like this, come back, bring friends. We got plenty of room, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks again, Mark. Have a
If you
great
need me,
week.
you can reach out to me,
Thanks.
and I will see you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
So long.